with me. My name's Torrey Reese. I'm sure you're aware of why I'm down here.
No, because I was off yesterday.
Okay. Yesterday, your sergeant unlawfully arrested me. He was uneducated. The reason I come out to your substations is to make sure officers are educated and to make sure they don't make unlawful arrests. The issue that I came out about yesterday is the unlawful sign that you have out front about the knives. I know you and your chain of command are very well aware that there's no law against any citizen walking into this lobby with a knife or a handgun. The problem with the city leaving these signs up is what happened yesterday is a direct result of that, because your sergeant looked at the sign and said, and you can read his body camera, you can look at my film. He said, it must be a law or the sign wouldn't be there. And I said, Sergeant, I'm out here trying to make sure my city doesn't get sued. So officers do not make an unlawful arrest based off of a stupid sign that the city has chosen to put up. Okay, I understand you guys cannot control what the city thinks they should put up or doesn't put up. However, as I explained to the sergeant yesterday, as of yesterday, 3 other departments have taken down the signs.
Departments or substations?
Substations.
Okay.
They spoke with James Kopp. James Kopp knows the deal. He knows the reason that the gun signs came down was last year, well, a little over, almost 2 years ago. Lieutenant Lopez at the Central Substation tried to make an unlawful arrest for it. I've been telling every substation for weeks leading up to a problem. No, it won't. No, it won't. The chain of command ignored me. Just like the chain of command ignored that. I've sent letters to James Kopp, to the chief of police, the public information officer. Now today, public information officer had to say, wow, you warned us an officer would make an arrest. And he did. And it's bad. It is bad.
Did they book you or did they release you?
Oh, no. They released me. And I know where you're going to go with that. You're going to say, well, then he only detained you. Go ask, you look at the body camera footage. He very clearly stated I was under arrest. And here's the other thing that I want to get into with that. You see, I go out of my way to make sure the city doesn't get sued. But officers who want to play that, oh, I only detained you game, need to understand that if you're only detained, they can't be searching through your pockets, pulling out your money, pulling out your ID. That's an unlawful search. He had no authority to do that. However, his intent, when he specifically stated I was under arrest, his intent was to transport me. And that's where, if it's an arrest or not. As he said, oh, we can unarrest you. No, you can't give me back my liberty. You can't give me back a bad detainment. In that case, a bad arrest. You can't give me back my time in jail. You can't give me back my bail money. You can't give me back my time in court. You can't give me back the cost of lawyers. So him saying we can undo this stuff, no, sir. It needs to stop before it becomes an unlawful detainment or, as he escalated it, to an arrest. He actually called another officer to come down here and transport me.
Okay.
And at that point, again, because I've done this as long as I have, had this been 3 years ago, I'd have cussed your sergeant out, and he would have rightfully deserved that cussing. I'm going to tell you straight out, what he did to me was wrong professionally. I told him multiple times, Sergeant, you're wrong. I can carry a firearm into this lobby. He points to the sign and says, no, you can't. And I say, this is the same sign Lieutenant Lopez had comprehension in, but I'm not going to argue. I'm going to go outside with you. I'm not going to win that argument, but he needs to understand that. Now, after he arrested me, and I'm sitting in the car for 20 some odd minutes, he actually happened to contact Lieutenant Lopez. I guess he was the only lieutenant on duty. That's a great coincidence for me because Lieutenant Lopez damn sure knows the law, and Lieutenant knows me. He may not like me. I called him some rather unnice names when he arrested me, but he knew, yeah, he's right. Well, whether Lieutenant Lopez's station took down the sign after your sergeant called or before, I don't know. I know that when I went down to court this morning, the sign at Central Substation's gone. So that's 4 of them.
I got threatened with my life.
Again, my issue why I need to make sure you're aware of
Can I
it
have a witness?
is one, when I asked the sergeant repeatedly, you say you're arresting me. What ordinance, what law am I breaking? I don't have to tell you, I don't have to know, I just know it's illegal. And I said, how do you know it's illegal? Because there's a sign there. And again, am I blaming the sergeant for not knowing the law? You can't know every law.
Benito?
But when I'm telling you, no, there is no ordinance. Look it up before you pursue this. Look it up before you make this mistake.
So do you want to follow the plain on something?
Make sure this doesn't happen again, that you let your other officers know, okay? And that you let them know the difference between detaining someone, if you suspect they've committed a crime. You have to know which crime you suspected them of committing. You can't. I mean, how many times have I been told, you're suspicious, so we're going to detain you on suspicion? My frustration, I mean, Lieutenant, is it Guidry or Guidry?
Guidry.
Guidry, I apologize. My memory's not so good. Lieutenant Guidry, my issue, again, goes back to, I don't spend the amount of time that I do going to every substation, talking to the chain of command. When I came in yesterday, I asked to speak with the chain of command because I'd been here 3 weeks before. And they said, we'll pass it up to the chain of command. And I said, okay. Now I got to go talk to the chain of command to make sure if the city is going to play legal games, and they do, you can't, hey, the city's going to do whatever, then what I can do is mitigate it and make sure officers like this officer don't arrest somebody for something that's not against the law.
I need to document this. What is your first and last name?
It's Tory.
Tory. Last name?
Ries.